Today, I'm going to show you how I turn these two designs into screen printed apparel. My name is Brooks, I run a brand called Nowhereland, and this is episode 10 of Going Nowhere. Ooh boy, we made it to double digits, episode 10. And what better way to celebrate than with some new t-shirts and hoodies. Let's jump into the process of how I design for screen printing, how I set up the art files and mockups for the printer, how I order blanks, and of course, some crispy B-roll of the actual printing process. With this first design, I'm keeping it nice and simple and making this a one-color print. When designing for screen printing, you have to take into account how many colors you're using because each new color is a new screen setup, which adds additional cost. I like to keep my designs between 1 to 5 colors. I think you can get a solid design within that range while keeping your printing costs down. There are also ways to add the illusion of additional colors by using halftone brushes that give the effect of shading or highlights without adding any new colors. I use this trick a lot in my apparel designs. Also, knowing how many pieces you're ordering can affect your art decisions as well. The higher quantity you order typically means a cheaper per piece price for printing. So if you're doing a small project, you might want to keep your design to 1 or 2 colors. But if you're ordering a larger quantity, you could try adding more. Here's the finished piece with the additional left chest print. Now this next design is going to be a 5-color back print with a 1-color left chest print. I definitely forgot to hit record when I made this design, so here's a quick look at the color separations, which leads us into our next step, setting up our artwork for printing and making mockups. Most print shops require you to have a vector art file for printing, so I took my Photoshop art, put it into Illustrator, and live traced it. I set up a file with 3 artboards. I have a back print, left chest print, and then this third artboard is going to be for our mockups and print details. We have our registration marks added in for the printer to align each color when setting up. Then we have our Pantone colors called out. Depending on the print shop you're working with, they might prefer you to send them the art in a different way. So when you build a relationship with the printer, you can kind of get to know how they prefer it. I put each color on a new layer along with the Pantone that it connects to. So we have our yellow, pink, teal, and dark blue. I went ahead and did the same exact thing with this other design. This is a little more simple because it's just 1 color. We have our registration marks, the back print, left chest print. We have our 1 Pantone color called out. The one key difference between these 2 art files, this first design is being printed on light garments, where this design is being printed on dark garments, which means we need a base. A base is pretty much a thin hit of white ink that goes underneath your artwork. That way, when the colors lay on top of that, they're true to their actual Pantone. If you were to print just straight ink onto a dark garment, it would really mute those colors, and if that's not the style you're going for, a base is the way to correct that. So I basically just offset the path and put this thin layer of white underneath, so when you turn this back on, you see how that overlays on top of it. Now that the artwork is separated, we can go ahead and jump into deciding what kind of apparel blanks we want to use. I do want to note that knowing what color blanks you're going to print on before doing the design is helpful. That way you can work with those colors while you're actually making the design. The 3 companies I use to order my blank apparel are Alpha Broder, S&S Activewear, and Lane 7 Apparel. Alpha and S&S are large umbrella companies that have a huge variety of blank apparel brands that they source from, where Lane 7 is their own brand and they offer wholesale accounts directly with them. I like to order my blanks myself and drop them off at the printer. That way I can get the best blank pricing, but not all screen printers allow you to supply your own blanks. So I would just double check with whoever you're going to use before going this route. You do also need a resale license in order to make a wholesale account with these companies, which basically tells them that you're going to be buying these blanks at a wholesale rate with the intention of decorating them and then reselling them. Let's take a look at the blank brands that I like and that I've used in the past, as well as the exact blank that we're going to be using for this newest drop of apparel. And then we can get into making some mock-ups. There are little differences between the two websites. They carry a lot of the same blank brands, but there are definitely some that are exclusive to each website. Now, if you're interested in doing your own research and finding a blank that you might like, here's all the brands that they carry. It's a lot and it's kind of overwhelming. There's more than just t-shirts on here. There's kind of blanks for all different types of apparel. So if this is something that interests you, it's really cool to take a deep dive and really explore all the different options. If this is too overwhelming, I would just talk with your screen printer and just ask them what their most popular blanks are. I've used Bella Canvas before. They're more of a fashion forward, slim fit feel. Lightweight cotton. I typically use a 3001. They have a bunch of different color options. This is a little peek behind the curtain because I forgot to log out of my account, but you can see here the actual wholesale price of a blank garment. This will also give you the locations of where the blanks will be shipping from and the current quantities available. Another brand that I really like is Next Level Apparel. I typically go with the 3600, which is their 100% cotton blank. Another great option within Next Level is their 6210, which is pretty much their poly cotton version. Now, the brand that I am currently using for my t-shirts, I think what bothered me the most with those other brands is that they were a little too form-fitting, a little too tight. So I came across Comfort Colors. The actual blank that I use within Comfort Colors is the 1717. This is their most popular unisex blank. You can see how many different color options they have. And then for our current hoodie blank, we'll hop over to Lane 7 Apparel. So the blank style that I use is the 14001. It comes in a pretty cool array of colors. This new seafoam color that they have is really rad, which is the exact color that I'm using for this newest drop of apparel. We can download high-res images of these models, and that's what we use to do our mock-ups. Same thing on Lane 7, download high-res image, and you just click on all the images that you want. I will say Alpha Broder does, for whatever reason, have slightly better model shots. So I'm gonna actually go over to Alpha Broder, and then I'm gonna hit download images, and then we're gonna throw them all into Photoshop and put our artwork on top of it. Okay, so we downloaded all the different colors that we want. So I have a t-shirt mock-up folder, I have a crew neck, and then I have a hoodie mock-up. Now the point of this is really just to give your printer an example of what you want the final product to look like. We've got our front mock-up here. We're gonna throw that left chest. I brought the artwork in, and then same thing with the back. We're gonna throw our artwork up here. So I'm gonna go through, set that up for all the different colors I want, and then we're gonna put those mock-ups into our art file. Okay, the artwork is finished. The art files and mockups are good to go. So I'm going to send all this info over to the printer with details on quantities and turn times. I love being able to see how the products I design are actually made. I think it helps give you an understanding and appreciation for how much effort really goes into it. Thanks for watching. I'll leave links below to all the companies that I mentioned in this video. Feel free to leave a comment if you have any questions about making your own screen printed apparel, or if you have any other recommendations of printers that you've used. There are other ways to make t-shirts, but this video is specific to screen printing. In the future, I'll do some overviews of other printing options like direct-to-garment. You can grab these new shirts and hoodies on my website at nowherelandsupply.com, as well as a bunch of other products. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, tell your friends, and I'll catch you in the next one.